knowledge seeker channel. This channel is dedicated to exploring critical issues. The purpose of this presentation is to explore the difference between Western and African family systems concerning the issue of political rights. The presentation is motivated by the cultural clash over the issue of political rights that has been going on between Western and African political leaders. This is a generalized view of the family system. In order to understand the system better, it is also necessary to understand the social system. In the West, there is a preference for individualism. Individualism can be defined as a social theory favoring freedom of action for individuals over collective or state control. It is the principle and habit of being independent and self-reliant. It is a preference for individual rights. On the other hand, in the African social system, there is a preference for collectivism. Collectivism can be defined as a social theory favoring relationships and social harmony based on the group. The group could be the family, the community, religious association, or the ethnic group. Individuals are expected to work and sacrifice for the benefit of the group. It is a preference for group rights. Now, on the family system, in the West, particularly in the United States, the family is defined as two or more individuals who are related by birth, marriage, or adoption who live in a household together. The family may also include related subfamily members. It is a secular institution defined by law. On the other hand, in Africa, the family can be defined as all individuals who are related by birth through kinship, marriage, or adoption and are not limited to a household. The African family is expansive because it includes all the members who are related by blood. It is a theocratic institution based on tradition and reinforced by law. A family household unit is not very important in the African system. In the West, the family is treated like a purely legal and physical institution. It can be redefined depending on the political mood of society. If a group puts sufficient political pressure on the system, then the system is redefined. The extended family is not as important as the nuclear family except in some Western societies. The nuclear family is paramount. In the African family system, the family is both physical and spiritual, since the family includes the living and the ancestors. It cannot be easily redefined due to the spiritual implications. The nuclear family is important, but not as important as the extended family due to kinship. It is all for one and one for all in the extended family and the community. The family in the West is a social institution but does not necessarily operate as a governmental unit. Children are raised and socialized to embrace individualism. Western psychology is focused on individual behavior. On the other hand, the African family is a social institution and operates as a governmental unit due to its extended nature. Children are raised and socialized to embrace collectivism. African psychology is focused on group behavior since individual behavior is related to family behavior and family behavior is related to community behavior and vice versa. In the West, in adulthood, individuals can live and are not expected to play active role in maintaining and perpetuating the extended family. Since the family is a legal institution, it has no spiritual obligation to the ancestors. On the other hand, in Africa, individuals are expected to play active role in maintaining and perpetuating the extended family regardless of age. The family is a sacred institution and has a spiritual obligation to the ancestors. In the West, since there is a preference is for the nuclear family, the roles of the patriarch and or matriarch are important but not legally binding. Family issues can be settled through negotiation, presided over by the leader and elders of the family, but the decisions are not binding due to individual rights and the law courts except in some countries in the West. On the other hand, in the African system, since there is a preference for the extended family, every family has a patriarch and or a matriarch who serve as the leader of the family. Family issues are settled through negotiation presided over by the leader and elders of the family. Decisions of the family are binding and sometimes sanctified through the invocation of the ancestors. In the West, legal age determines adulthood and independence. An adult is free to do as he or she wishes, as far as the law is not violated. The individual can leave or divorce the family. The individual can dishonor the family by seeking to engage in self-fulfilling actions and behaviors, except in some Western societies. On the other hand, in Africa, legal age determines adulthood, but not necessarily independence from the family. An adult can do as he or she wishes, but cannot violate the family and community standards as well as the law. The individual cannot leave or divorce the family and the community. The individual cannot dishonor the family and the community. In the West, family rights can be sacrificed for individual rights. Uncles act like uncles and are addressed as such by the children in the extended family. Aunts act as aunts and are addressed as such by the children in the extended family. Cousins identify themselves through their nuclear families. In Africa, family rights cannot be sacrificed for individual rights. Uncles act as fathers and are addressed as such by the children in the extended family. Aunts act as mothers and are addressed as mothers by the children in the extended family. All cousins are brothers and sisters. The reason is that in many or most African ethnic groups, there is no word for uncle, no word for aunt, no word for cousins, no word for nieces, no word for nephew. And that is why uncles are fathers and aunts are mothers. In the West, individuals do not have to serve as role models and mentors in the family if they do not wish to do so. Likewise, individuals do not have to necessarily contribute financially and otherwise to the extended family. The individual does not have to necessarily bear more family and community responsibility for being more educated and richer. In the African system, all individuals must serve as role models and mentors in the family and in the community, no exception. Every individual must contribute financially and otherwise to the family wherever he or she may be. The more educated and richer an individual is, the more he or she must contribute to the family and the community due to kinship. Due to individual rights, an adult can engage in any behavior or activity that does not serve the honor and interests of the family and the community in the West. Likewise, due to the secular nature of the family system, there is no sacred law apart from constitutional and statutory laws. On the other hand, in the African system, due to group rights, no individual can engage in any behavior or activity that threatens the honor and interests of the family and the community. The individual can be expelled or ostracized for violating the sacred laws of the family and the community. In the West, individual rights can trump group rights. Since the family is not regarded as a sacred institution, legislative or statutory laws can be passed to change or alter the family system. Under a secular system, there is no sacred law. On the other hand, in the African system, individual rights cannot trump group rights. Since the family is regarded as a sacred institution, any legislative law that threatens it is vehemently opposed. Anyone who violates a sacred law must render public confession and carry out a cleansing ritual. In the West, as far as marriage is concerned, most of the time, marriage is based on affection between two individuals. The family does not necessarily have to approve a marriage proposal since the individual ultimately decides. Marriage is a union of two individuals. On the other hand, in Africa, marriage is based on about 50% on personal affection and about 50% of family arrangement. The family almost always approves a marriage proposal because people married into families. A marriage cannot take place without the approval of the families. Marriage is a union of two families. Conclusion. Therefore, the Western family system is generally nuclearized by law, while the African family system is communalized by tradition and reinforced by law. In the West, individualism allows people to move away from the extended families and live life the way they choose. In the theocratized African family system, individuals remain part of the family until end of their lives. Thus, the two systems are incompatible. As a result, while the West insists on individual rights, Africa insists on group rights. Thank you for listening to this presentation.